Hello guys, welcome to my patch 2.4a tier list. I am going to be listing all of the tiers for Baron lane, jungle, mid lane, AD carry, and support. Before we get into it, thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel, reference link in the description below. Let's now talk about these tiers. So, kicking it off with Baron lane. So not much has changed a huge amount from Baron lane. Fiora, I think, still stands as one of the best Baron laners out there. I've moved Akali up because I've been seeing more and more Akali being played, and she's also banned pretty frequently. Usually when an Akali is banned, or when something is banned as frequently as Akali, it indicates that that champion is in a strong spot, or people perceive it to be in a strong spot. So Akali, I think, is in general just very, very strong in both Baron and mid lane right now. She, of course, hasn't been touched by nerfs for quite some time. And I still rate Gragas as the most flexible tank in the game. I think you can play him AP, you can play him tank, you can play him hybrid if you want to, and I still rate him as one of the most flexible Baron laners out there. Camille is very strong, Renekton strong, Garen still an S tier. I have been stomped by a few Garens recently. Full tank Garen is not dead, everybody. He's not as good as he used to be. He's definitely not a 1v9 as he used to be, but he's still very strong, has good matchups in the Baron lane, and hasn't really felt that grasp nerf. Because everybody else who used grasp also felt the nerf, so really it just kept them all at level pegging, really. And Malphite, another very serviceable tank. You can never really go wrong picking Malphite. Again, he has that flexibility, but Gragas is better full AP than Malphite is in a full AP format. But he does have that flexibility of going AP or tank. And obviously his ultimate is going to remain eternally useful. There aren't any other major shifts here, but one that you may notice is JINX. JINX is in A+ tier for me. I think he's super good in the Baron lane right now. He takes towers instantly. I'm not even joking. He takes towers so bloody quickly. And he's a really strong split push threat. I think overall there are still ways of dealing with him, and he's not like turbo broken, because there are still other things that kind of like good ways to counter get JINX. Like, he's very easily peelable. Once he's used his jump and his stun, he doesn't really have anything left. So JINX still is dealt, you can deal with him, but otherwise I think he's very strong right now. No other major changes. Mundo has moved up into A tier. I think Mundo got a nice buff. I think he's pretty strong right now. I don't think he's like busted strong, but I think like picking Mundo is a good option. If you like Mundo, he's a good tank right now. I've moved Graves down because of some of the nerfs, and also the nerfs to Graves' favorite items right now has kind of put him a little bit lower. Like, I think he's still a strong Baron lane choice. I don't know if I rate him as highly as I did before. I also just think like there are plenty of other picks I'd rather have in Baron lane, and Graves is a good jungler, for instance. People have been talking about Thresh Baron lane. I don't really rate it. I think it's a cheese pick. I think it's cheesy. I think you can maybe win lane with it, but Thresh is very squishy and very easy to deal with, and especially if you're not playing a supportive role, you really on Thresh, you want to be having that balance between kind of supporting your team, being long range with lanterns, but also just engaging fights. And the problem with Thresh in the Baron lane is, like, once you've engaged the fight, you're not as tanky as most of the traditional tanks, and you're not dealing as much damage, and if you go full AD, you're just going to get one shot. So I'm not entirely convinced by this Thresh top banter that I've been seeing. Moved Nasus up a little bit, and we have to meme on someone now that we can no longer meme on Tryndamere, so we're memeing on Teemo. I mean, Teemo is bad, so I'm going to put him right down in the bad tier, which is D. All right, moving on to the jungle. And your eyes do not deceive you. No, they do not, because that right there, this monstrosity of a champion, what an anime redemption arc for our boy, Master Yi. This champion has gone from garbage to strict 1v9 turbo busted. Like, he got very good with the new items, and then they just buffed him. Kha'Zix is still really good, by the way. I'm still reeling over Yi. Yi is actually 1v9 machine right now. Kha'Zix is still very good. Lee Sin's still super good. You don't see as much of him right now, I think, just because people are testing loads of other things out, but I actually like Lee Sin is still a really strong jungler. No major changes here. We've moved Graves down a little bit because he did get nerfed. We have opened up A and A+ tier. You may have noticed. I didn't tell you guys at the start of the video, but A tier was getting way too overpopulated, so I've opened it up into A and A+. Similar amount, but A+ obviously just that little bit better than those sitting in A tier. Mundo has been moved up. He's a really strong jungler now, in my opinion. I think he's very, very good. Evelyn, still in the same position. She's not great. Fizz gets moved down a little bit because he got nerfed. And I think overall he's solid, but not like absolutely insane. I think the Rammus clear speed is a relatively decent one. Rammus clear speed is like actually impacting him, and he's actually sort of being able to clear jungles and get a lot of ganks off. So I think Rammus is potentially a solid jungler. Maybe seeing him move up over the course of the next few weeks, maybe. Then we have JINX. JINX is not as good in the jungle as he is in the Baron lane because his passive doesn't work on monsters the same way that it does on minions and on enemy champions. So he's more kind of being shuffled into that Baron lane role rather than, you know, being a solid jungler. I see people rave about Irelia jungle, but I just don't think she's as strong as a lot of the other picks on this list. So I'm not particularly concerned. And yes, I have seen people play Teemo jungle and putting him in D tier just to let you know that he's garbage. Let's move on. Okay, so we're looking at the mid lane now. Akali and Ziggs, in my opinion, are like two super strong mid laners. We see a lot of Ziggs. His damage scales ridiculously. He's very difficult to punish. I think Ziggs is super good. I think Corki is... like, they nerfed him, but I don't really think he felt the nerf massively. I think he still is a very strong burst champion, especially in both bot and mid. Katarina still remains the same. Very annoying to play against. I still ban her most games. Zed with Seralda's Grudge is nutty good, by the way. I hate Zed with Seralda's Grudge. It's a really dumb item on him. It's actually the single item that has made him this strong. He uses his ultimate. He lands one of his abilities. You're slowed. Every single other ability is going to hit. Seralda's Grudge is usually being rushed by Zeds as their first item because it is that good for them. Orianna, Diana, Irelia, Lucian, all solid right now on the current patch. Twisted Fate, I love him. Video of Twisted Fate coming tomorrow, by the way. Had a good game with Twisted Fate and I wanted to talk about it. So video of Twisted Fate coming tomorrow, but Twisted Fate is a good champion overall. You have Yasuo, who's solid on the new patch with the items. Ari's very serviceable. Galio and Gragas very good. Fizz got nerfed. Already was kind of weak-ish in the mid lane, but I think Guantrix can definitely make Fizz feel really good. Annie, I used to underrate massively. Annie is super strong. But they nerfed her recently and I think she's very predictable. So when I say super strong, I mean like for what she does. Right, she's very predictable. She's all about the Hextech belt or the Proto belt enchant into Tibbers. That's all she's got going for her. But you know, especially at low elos, is a very good way of starting team fights or making picks or catching people out. So otherwise, pretty solid. And Teemo sucks, so of course had to mention that. AD carry list. Let's have a look. Kai'Sa and Ezreal remain very, very strong. I think they are better than Xayah, which is why I've put them slightly higher than Xayah. But then Lucian and Corki, both incredibly solid AD carries in the bot lane. Despite the Lucian nerf, he still remains very strong. I have boosted Vayne to A+. Vayne in the right hands feels obnoxious right now. She feels really strong. I think the reason that she's on the same power as Draven is both Draven and Vayne are really good right now, but they require the right player. I can't, in good faith, say that Draven and Vayne are S+ tier, and everybody goes to try them, and then they figure out they suck. The problem is with Vayne and Draven, they both require a player who is very good with those champions to really make them feel at their best. But otherwise, I think they're suited to an A+ role. Jhin, Senna, Tristana, Misfortune, all solid AD carry picks. You can't go too wrong. There aren't really many AD carry picks, honestly, that you can go too wrong with right now. Senna isn't very good if you're not... If you're playing fasting Senna, she's much better. But if you're playing like farming Senna, I don't think she's very good. But overall, you can't really go too wrong with AD carries right now. Pretty much every AD carry is solid. And I think there are very few AD carries or slash sort of AD carry marksman bot lane roles that are bad, apart from Teemo, who sucks. Okay, and supports. It is really the enchanter meta again, and I've come to the sort of the thinking that Lulu is kind of busted. Lulu is again really strong, mainly because if you look at the AD carries, there are a lot of attack speed AD carries that really benefit, like the Xayah, the Vayne, the Xayah, the Kai'Sa, the Vayne, Corki, like all of these guys benefit from Lulu, and I think Lulu's in a super good spot in general. So I think Lulu's very strong. Staff of Flowing Water is a great item on her. Same as Nami and Janna. Nami and Janna and Lulu are all very good, and I think they are kind of sitting at the top of the support tier list right now. Beyond that, Braum, so close. I think Braum is still really strong, but I kind of had to move someone out when I put Lulu in, so I tried to chuck Braum down. Senna, fasting Senna, very, very good. Still rate her as a support right now. Leona is a great engaged support. Rakan, also loving Rakan right now. I've got a few Rakan videos on the way. And Thresh, you've seen me play Thresh. I called him S+ tier in a video because I was really hyped about him, but actually when you really look at Thresh, he's okay. He's very squishy. He relies on Aftershock to get the resistances to have a proper engage. And he's got a few bugs that are really annoying right now. Like, I don't know if any of you have noticed, when you try to cast your ultimate, either when you're in the middle of your hook and you're going towards someone, or you're flaying at the same time, the ultimate doesn't queue up or it doesn't cast, and there's a lot of problems casting the box, which I find to be like a really annoying part of his kit. And in general, like, his soul generation is relatively low. So I don't know if Thresh is like deserving of an S+. However, in the right hands, landing hooks consistently, etc., Thresh can feel really, really, really powerful. I personally love Thresh, but I've also played a lot of games in Grandmaster, Challenger tier, where I have been absolutely crapped on by an enchanter, and I haven't been able to land a single hook or game, and you've really felt how weak Thresh can be. I thought Thresh was really good because I had like a 70 to 80% win rate with him, and I was just shitting on people. But I think overall, like, against an even skill matchup, you'll find that Thresh has got issues that are quite easily exploitable by people like Braum, or even just like some of the enchanters. I think Soraka, by the way, is really good right now. If you can land your first ability and then use your heal, like, you're getting heals for free, basically, especially if you're leveling up your heal first. Like, you're getting a completely free heal if you're able to land your first ability. So I think Soraka is like super strong. And on a 2-second cooldown, by the way, so you can basically spam it for 0 cost. Yeah, I think Soraka is super strong. Other than that, I wouldn't say there's anything too crazy here to talk about in the support list. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Good luck on patch 2.4a, and subscribe if you like. See you soon.